everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Agent's Edge. My name is Ryan Polimeni, I'm your host, and today we're going to talk about how to book 80% of your life insurance leads. I know that this is a big area of struggle for a lot of agents and advisors, and it was for me when I first started. I will tell you that right off the rip. I was not very good on the phone. I had a lot of fear getting onto the phone, and I know that that's a big thing that a lot of people run into. And so what we're going to talk about today is the mindset towards getting on the phone, because I think it's really important to understand not just the mindset, but also the psychology behind the word as you go through your phone script and really understanding what it is the clients need. We're also going to talk about how to eliminate the two biggest fears, and these two biggest fears, I promise you, are holding you back from absolute massive success when it comes to dialing the phone. They were the two things that held me back for a long time. And I've coached and I still continue to coach agents all over the country. And when I'm coaching people on this topic, the commonality are these two biggest fears. And so I'm really going to spend some time on it because, again, I don't want you just to hear a script because anybody can pick up a script and start reading it. But do you truly understand the meaning behind it? Like, the scripts that we're going to talk about have been tested, proven over the last 8 years of my career in doing this. And it took a lot of time, effort, to get these scripts to what I think is perfection. Obviously, nothing's ever going to be perfect, but in our world, this works really well. And some of you may be saying, well, why are you giving us these scripts, especially when we're not in your organization? And again, it's because this is so much bigger than just working in my organization or working for another organization. This is to help you explode your business. This is to help take your business to the next level, which is my ultimate goal. And so when I talk about the script, I'm going to go through it one time. I'm going to go through it like a normal phone call. The second time I'm going to go through it, though, is I'm going to go through sentence by sentence, and I'll even break down the words that I say, and I'm going to give you the psychology behind the word. Because, again, saying one thing is all great and dandy, but understanding the meaning behind it is a totally different ballgame. That is when you start becoming a master at booking appointments on the phone. Now, I say 80% of your life leads because, look, when you perfect this, and you get really comfortable on the phone, there's no reason at all why you cannot be booking 80% of your new leads. Today we're going to be talking about new leads though, so just be clear, this phone script is about new leads. Obviously, some of you are booking final expense leads, some of you guys are booking mortgage protection leads, work and age leads, internet leads. Like, I know there's a huge variety of leads, but I'm going to focus on mortgage protection today because I know a lot of you watching are in the mortgage protection world. And this is your area of expertise, right? So this is what we're going to talk about today, but I want you to just be clear too. This is the baseline of what we do with the phone script. But if you log on and you get yourself a copy of the 20 by 30 blueprint, we have probably about 3 hours of phone script training on how to book appointments on age leads, how to get at least 30-40% of your age leads booked, which is huge. How to book 80% of your mortgage protection leads, which we're going to talk about today, and booking final expense leads. Because again, I know everybody's working something different. This system was set up for you to be able to go on, get 24-hour access on demand. We've got MP3s and CDs for you guys to be listening to this stuff in your car because it's repetition, right? And anything you do in the business is repetition and practicing and practicing and practicing. But if you're practicing, make sure you're practicing the right thing, right? Because everyone says practice makes perfect. That's bullcrap. Practice does not make perfect if you're not practicing the right things, right? So you've got to make sure you're practicing the right way of doing things, and I'm going to give you the right way of doing it based on what's been successful for us. So let's talk about the mindset toward a lead. When you get a brand new lead, I think it's important to understand where it came from too. So if you're working mortgage protection leads, how was that lead generated? That lead was generated by somebody, whether it's a mail house or your company, pulling the data for people who just bought a home or just refinanced. So if you think about that psychology right off the rip, you're talking about somebody who has a need, right? It's a life event that took place. Why do people buy life insurance? Well, because most of the time a life event happens. They have a child, they buy a house, they're getting older, they're retired, whatever the situation is, that's why people buy life insurance. So why do people buy mortgage protection? Well, it's the same mindset. It's a life event happened that triggered a need in the market or a need for that family, which means that when they fill out that form, this family is looking for your help. Think about this too. If the family didn't need you, meaning like they got the person that would take care of it, they wouldn't fill this form out. Would you fill a form out? Well, let's start there. would you fill a mortgage protection form out? Yes, no, whatever the answer is. If you said no, congratulations, you're part of the 99% of America that would not fill it out. 1% of every family that gets this form fills it out. That means that for every 10 people that get this form, one person is going to fill it out. So that is your target market, right? You're not worried about the other 99% that said no. You're worried about that 1% that asked you for your help. That is who you reach out to, and that's who your target market is that you're going to be working with. So think about that. The other 99% got that form in the mail, and they said, I don't need anybody's help. We've got this covered. Maybe they think they have enough insurance through work, which we all know is crap insurance because it doesn't actually follow them if they leave. They may have a financial advisor already that's advised them to get it or not to get it, which always blows my mind how many financial advisors tell them not to get mortgage protection. It's the weirdest thing in the world, but that's their strategy. Or they may just have a life insurance person that takes care of them. So whatever the scenario is for the other 99% that didn't see the value, your target is that 1%. So when you get that form back, whether it's you doing your own direct mail pieces or the company generating those leads for you, that 1%, that person is the person you're targeting and dialing. So when you're calling that person, be very, very clear. You are not cold calling that person. So mindset number one going into that is you are not a telemarketer, right? The mindset would be very different if you were picking up a phone book and making cold calls trying to generate leads and sales. That would be a very difficult way to do business. Very old school way, but a lot of companies still do it. But that would be very difficult, meaning you don't have that problem. You have a lead in front of you from a family that asked for your help. So the only thing you should be thinking about is how fast can I get out there and take care of that family's need, right? That's the mindset of working leads is they have a problem, we have the solution. Without me, if that family dies, they lose their home. How do I know this? Because over the last 8 years, we have gotten hundreds of thousands of mortgage protection leads back. And it still amazes me that when an agent gets one of these leads and does not get out to that family for whatever reason, myself or one of my advisors will come behind 6 months later and the spouse or the co-borrower or the borrower or the lender or that mortgage died. Between the time they fill out the form to somebody gets to them. Can you imagine if your family filled out this form asking for help and it took 3, 4, 5 months to get out to that person, and in the meantime, that husband or wife died waiting for your help? That's the reality of the situation. It happens all the time. And I know you don't want to be the person to have to answer the question as what took you so long, right? The mindset is so key going into what you're trying to accomplish with these families. So they fill the form out. You are not a telemarketer. You are there to provide a solution to the problem for that family. Now, that also goes into expecting to book appointments, right? So if you have all these families that are asking for help, why in the world would you expect not to book appointments? Think about it. It's the same thing like if you book an appointment and you get into the house, they said yes several times. Why would you expect a no? Meaning they got a form in the mail. Truthfully, it's a piece of junk mail. I mean, when it comes down to it, they're going to get solicited by a lot of companies and they chose your form. So they said yes to needing the information. If they say yes to booking an appointment with you, why in the world would you go in a house and not expect a yes for a sale? It's the same thing when you're booking appointments. They said yes. They need your help. Expect to book an appointment. If you go into a dial session and expect not to book appointments, guess what kind of results you're going to get? Crap results. So when you start dialing and you're getting into it, you need to go in with an expectation that every family that filled out this form is going to book an appointment with you. Is that going to happen? No. You're going to get 1 or 2 people that'll never book an appointment with you. Why? Because they're going to give you every objection in the world. They're out of the state. They changed their mind. Whatever the crap is, whatever it is, they're going to give you bull crap. However, the better you get on the phone, and we're going to go over some objections, the better you will be at hitting that 80 to 90% target. You know, for a lot of you watching this, you may be booking 30, 40% of your leads, which means that 3 out of 10, it's not great. And there's room for improvement, which is great because if you start adding some of the things that we're going to talk about today, it'll help you get to that next level of your dialing session. So, again, when I work with new agents, and if you're coaching agents, this is a big part of the business you have to focus on. Because if you can't book an appointment, you don't have a business. Meaning if you can't book an appointment, you can't get in front of somebody, how are you going to make sales? So don't be afraid to fail. I will say this, when I first started, part of the reason why I bombed was because I was really afraid to fail. And we fear failure for two reasons. Number one is we're afraid of rejection. Okay, so when we talk about the two fears holding you back, fear number one is the fear of rejection. Everybody fears it. Look, I don't care how long you've been doing this for. After 8 years, when I still get on the phone, I still feel that feeling. Like I still get that butterfly feeling of, God, it's got to go right. You get yourself in that frame of mind, you get in your motion, and things start going your way. But don't get me wrong, even after 8 years, it's still getting on the phone is tough. It never becomes super easy. It becomes easier over time when you develop the confidence. But even when you're confident getting on the phone, it's still like you get those jitters. Why? Because not only are you afraid of rejection, but fear number two is fear of losing your investment. Because if you're purchasing leads, you have skin in the game, right? You have marketing dollars that you put into generating that lead or purchasing that lead. And we go into that phone conversation thinking, man, I hope they don't say no. Because if they say no, this lead cost me $40, and that's an awful way of thinking going into it. And I'm going to help you reverse some of that psychology going on in your head today. A lot of that just, again, comes from developing and building confidence. But you can't be afraid to lose your money because the reality is you're going to. So when you start understanding that everything happens in your business for a reason, meaning you invest money, there are going to be times where people tell you no. There are going to be times where people probably cuss you out on the phone. You can't take this stuff personally, though, because, again, think about this scenario. You call somebody, and they're having a terrible day, right? They just pulled into the driveway after work, after an awful day at work. They run over the garbage can. Garbage is all over their driveway. They're already pissed off to begin with, right? And then after all of those things taking place, you call. What kind of mindset do you think that client is going to be in? Right, and you take it personally when they yell at you for calling at the wrong time. But again, it's just timing. Put the lead aside and go back to it again. So again, you guys start thinking about this stuff. You can't take it personally, so don't take rejection personally. 90% of the rejection you're going to get is because they either didn't understand what you're talking about or they didn't see the value in what you're trying to offer them. So a lot of the time, rejection is actually your fault, not theirs. Because again, they fill the form out and then they're telling you all these things that they don't want or they're not interested. If you accept that, then you're going to get those kind of results, negative results. So you've got to make sure, again, going into the phone call that you have your mindset right. You're prepared, you're ready to get some rejection, but you're ready to also overcome it. Now, let's talk about prepping for the call for a second, because everybody has their own ways of preparing for calls. A dial session, when you're doing it by yourself, can be difficult because you're playing that head game of procrastination, right? We all want to procrastinate because the phone weighs 1,000 pounds when you go to pick it up for the first time. But once you get in your groove and your rhythm, it becomes easier. So when you pick up the phone, or before you pick up the phone, in preparation, you've got to get yourself into a peak mental state. Meaning, what gets you excited? What gets you fired up? Does listening to music get you all energized, get you jacked up? Does having a coffee and getting the caffeine flowing through you, does going for a run get you jacked up? I mean, I know a lot of our agents and a lot of people that I coach outside of our agency, they do things differently to get them jacked up. So figure out what gets you in a peak mental state. For me, I know I used to love listening to music. I would listen to some of my favorite songs that got me all jacked up. Get my mind right, get me all excited to get on the phone. Because again, sometimes even when you're dialing alone, you've got to get yourself excited because this is a pretty boring part of your business. We talk about the mundane parts. You've got to master the mundane. This is one of them. So get yourself into that peak mental state to allow you to be excited getting on the phones, because that excitement and that energy is magnetic, and your clients on the other line are going to feel that energy. They're going to feel that passion that you bring to it. And, that's going to help you a lot going in your dials. So after I go through the phone script, again, I'm going to go through the 5 common objections that I think everybody gets. And when I go through them, I'm going to also give you the solution to them, because you are going to get it. Again, I don't care how long you've been doing this for. I'll get on the phone and still get objections myself. But how do you get over them? Right? So we're going to talk about that. Now, I'm going to go through my phone script one time, normal speed. And people always ask me how long my phone script is. About 1 minute and 20 seconds. And that's with interaction with the client. So some of you guys are on the phone for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. Nothing good happens on the phone. Everything good happens in the house. So if you're on the phone for longer than 1 minute and 30 seconds, you're talking too much, you're selling too much. The purpose of getting on the phone is not to sell your product. It is to simply book an appointment. That is the key to success. You are there to book an appointment. When you start getting into the nitty-gritty of how your products work and blah, 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 you're going to lose it because you're giving too much information. We need to be face-to-face, kneecap to kneecap with our clients. It is the best way, in my opinion, some of you may disagree with me, and that's fine, but it is the best way, in my opinion, to sell life insurance because life insurance is an emotional sale. Anybody can just start throwing out some quotes, but what does that do for the family? You know, if you're just a quoting machine, why not just set something up online, just have it spit out a bunch of quotes? That doesn't do anything for the family. You have to be there. They have to know that you care about them. So that's why this is a kneecap to kneecap sale. So as you get into your phone script, and please, if you want this phone script, I'm going to give this to you. All right. Email us at info@ryanpolimeni.com if you want a copy of this phone script. This will be the only phone script we're going to give out. On all of the other phone scripts, final expense, age, leads, procedure, all that stuff, you can get it right on the 20x30 blueprint by getting yourself a copy of this. There's an absolute huge resource tab that we put on there with all the scripts we provide, from booking appointments, even the in-home presentation, all that kind of stuff. It's all on there. So you have a huge, huge resource sitting right here waiting for you, okay? So make sure you go on and get all that stuff there. Now, when we get into the phone script, you have about 4 seconds to differentiate yourself from a telemarketer. What you do in those first opening seconds will change the entire tone for the phone script. Now, here's what I will tell you too. If you are in control on the phone from start to finish, you have set yourself up for being in complete control in the in-home from start to finish. Now, if your client is dominating you on the phone and you squeak your way into an appointment, guess what's going to happen when you get to the house? They are going to be in complete control of that appointment. You can't allow that. You have got to have the confidence and you've got to be in control. Listen, these families, they need somebody to tell them what to do. Because if they knew what to do, they would already have done it by themselves. Your job is to tell this family and help this family and guide them to make a decision. But they will only decide if they have complete confidence in you. That starts here, okay? So, if I'm tiling, I'm going to use the name Tom, just because it's an easy name to remember, and I'm going to blow through my script using Tom. So, what did most telemarketers do? I want you to think about it from doing it the wrong way to start off with, right? The wrong way is, if his name is Smith, is it, "Hi, Mr. Smith"? What does that insinuate automatically? When you get a phone call and somebody says, "Hi, Mr. Smith," what do you automatically think about? First and foremost, it's not a personal phone call, because if my friends call me up and they say, "Hey, Mr. Polimeni," I'm going to be like, "Do I know you? Like, hello, who's this?" Right? That's my initial reaction, is going to be like, okay, I don't know this person, because if they were my friends, they'd call me up and be like, "Hey, Ryan, what's going on, man?" Right? How do you talk to your friends? It's the same way I want you to think about talking to your clients, because you already have a personal touch. They reached out for help. They put their name right on the form. Tom, Tina, Mary, whatever their names are, it's right there on the form. And I want you to address them by their first name, because that, in 4 seconds, separates you from a telemarketer. So when you start off your phone script, it's, "Hey, Tom," right? I ask it in a question form. "Hi, Tom. Hey, Tom." Whatever comes off your tongue easier. "Hi, Tom." He's going to go, "Yes." But if you think about it, during that 4 seconds of asking somebody's name, what is the thought process going through their head? The thought process is, he knows my name. Do I recognize this voice? Right? So you've automatically separated yourself, and you automatically have them thinking in the direction you want to take them in. So, "Hi, Tom." "Hey, Tom, this is Ryan Polimeni. I'm calling from the Mortgage Protection Center. Tom, I'm getting back to you about a form that you and Mary had filled out and sent back to us recently. Do you remember doing that?" "Yes, we do." "Perfect. Tom, listen, my job is real simple. They put me in charge of getting you all the information you were looking for on this. I got to see about 12 other families tomorrow, and I didn't know what time you and Mary usually get out of work. We get out of work at 6 o'clock. Perfect. I tell you what, I'm booked at 6. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put you down on my schedule here between 7 and 7:30. Now, I've got you here at 7 North Main Street. Is that right, Tom? Yes, it is. Perfect. Now, Tom, just to help me out real quick, the 7, is that on the house or is that actually on the mailbox? Oh, it's on the mailbox. All right, perfect. And I know it's going to be dark when I'm heading out that way. What color is your house so I know what I'm looking for when I'm out there? It's a greenhouse with purple shutters. All right, perfect. Should be pretty easy to find. Now, Tom, do me a favor. Grab me something to write with. I'm going to have you jot a couple things down. Just let me know when you're ready. Wait a second. All right, great. I got a pen. Perfect. Go ahead and jot down my name, which is Ryan Polimeni. Don't worry about spelling my last name right. I can't even get it right half the time. Just making light, stupid jokes. And go ahead and put down that I'm going to be driving a silver 4-door sedan. So when you see me pull up, you know that's me. And Tom, are you taking any medications at all? You or Mary? Yes, we are. Okay. Anything major, heart attack, stroke, cancers, anything like that? No, just a simple blood pressure. Perfect. Have that out when I get there. It'll help speed the process up a little bit. And Tom, what time did I tell you I was going to be there? You said between 7 and 7:30. Perfect. Go ahead and jot that down. Stick that on your refrigerator. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Look forward to meeting you. Boom. Right? People ask me, how often does it go that smoothly? 80% of the time. Why? Because I have confidence in what I'm saying. I say things slow enough that he can understand me, but fast enough that he can't interrupt me. Right? Because when you start giving people and you start asking open-ended questions, then they start giving you reasons for objections. I don't give people time to start asking, how's the weather today? What's going on, man? How you feeling? The only question I ask is, do you remember doing that? Yes, we do. It's closed-ended. They have to give me an answer to my question. I don't ask, hey, Tom, how you doing today? I'm doing terribly. My life sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. What are you going to say to that? But if you give them and you're guiding it in the right direction that you want it to go, and you are asking closed-ended questions they have to give you an answer to, it helps you transition to the next point of your phone script, which is why it goes that smoothly, because you've got to be able to make those transitions one after another to guide it along. Again, you have this type of confidence, and you take control like that in this phone script. When you're in the house, it's going to go the exact same way if you have that confidence. You've got to develop that confidence. So, let's go through this sentence by sentence, and I'm going to break down why we say what we say. Because again, yes, you know my script. It's all great and dandy. But why do I say what I say? So, hi, Tom. Again, we talked about that. It's to differentiate yourself immediately. Tom, this is Ryan Polimeni calling from the Mortgage Protection Center. So in that 4 to 5, 6 second, blurb that I'm throwing out there, what I am doing is I am identifying who I am and where I'm calling from. Very simply put. Because if you think about this, and maybe you have never seen the return envelope for a mortgage protection letter, most of the time, it is labeled the Mortgage Protection Center on the return address, or, whatever, the Mortgage Center, whatever it's mailed to, you need to identify with people what they have done and where you're calling from. So this is Ryan Polimeni, tell them what my name is, calling from the Mortgage Protection Center. Now we've established a commonality of what the phone call is about. Getting back to you, and again, I want you to really think about emphasizing the word you. Because what you're doing is you're taking it off of you and you're putting it on them. Meaning, the reason that I'm calling is because of you. This is your fault. I'm not cold calling, you have a phone book. This is your fault. You initiated this. I'm getting back to you about a form you and Mary had filled out and sent back to us. See what I'm saying? This is the confidence that you have to have. This is where you start differentiating yourself from everybody else. Getting back to you about a form you and Mary had filled out and sent back to us. Do not be afraid to emphasize that in your phone script. So getting back to you about a form you and Mary had filled out and sent back to us. Do you remember doing that? It's a yes or no question. Yes, we do. Great. Tom, my job is really simple. It's to get you and Mary the information you guys requested. They put me in charge of taking care of you. So my job is really simple. People love simplicity. You'll see even in our phone script and in our in-home, we use simple, easy. These type of words people are attracted to. They like simplicity. So my job is really simple, Tom. Is to get you and Mary the information you guys were looking for. They put me in charge of taking care of you guys on this. I love saying the word they because they makes it bigger than me, right? They, like people are going, whoa, they, who's they? The big insurance company, like they put me in charge of taking care of you guys on this. So I love using those words, they put me in charge of taking care of you because again, it makes it bigger than you. Again, you're taking it off yourself. The more you can take it off yourself and put it on them and the insurance company, listen, you look like the rock star. So they put me in charge of taking care of you guys. I've got to see 12 other families or whatever number you use. Sometimes we use odd numbers. Like I got to see 9 other families tomorrow. Why do we say that? And again, I don't care if Tom is the first person you call that day. It doesn't matter. You need to say, I have to see 12 people, 11 people, 25 people. I don't care what you say. Pick a number. And you have to see that many people. Why? Because it makes you look busy, right? There's a lot of people that are doing this. People want to know what other people are doing. They want to be a part of what other people are doing. So if you're like, Tom, you're the only guy I got to see tomorrow, he's going to be like, wow, this must not be very good, or you must suck at your job. That's what I would think if somebody said that. But Tom, I got to see 12 other families tomorrow. I wasn't sure what time you and Mary get out of work so I can get that information to you. So it lets him see that you're very busy, you don't have time to mess around, because 12 people in a day is a lot of people. So I got to see 12 other people. I wasn't sure what time you and Mary typically get off of work. Again, I don't ask him, does afternoons work good for you guys? Or, hey, what time works really good for you guys? I'm the professional, meaning if you call the doctor's office, think about this. When you call the doctor's office, you go, Doc, I got a pain in my leg. I'm going to be in at 3 o'clock tomorrow to come see you. They're going to be like, yeah, that's nice. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Because why? They control their schedule. They're really busy. They are the professional. They have the solution to your problem. Your problem is your knee bothers you. Their solution is medication or whatever the heck they're going to give you. You have the same thing with these clients. You control your schedule. You are the professional. If I start allowing people to dictate my schedule, I'm just an appointment taker. I mean, like, where is my confidence in that? So tell them what time, ask them a question. What time do you guys typically get off of work? I don't care if they're 75 years old and I know that they're probably not working. I still ask, what time do you guys typically get off of work? And then I wait. And I allow them to tell me a time. Now, when you're waiting for them to tell you a time, and they say, we get off at 5:30, why don't you come over at 6? Right? Again, I appreciate the suggestion, but I'm really busy. So I'm going to tell you what time I'm going to come over when we establish what time you guys get home. So if they say we get off work at 5:30, I will say, great. I will be there between 6 and 6:30 or 7 and 7:30. This goes back to scheduling too. When I dial and I book appointments, it's every hour on the hour. But I give myself a half-hour time frame in between. That's why I say I'll be there between 6 and 6:30. Because if I say I'll be there at 6 o'clock and I show up at 6:29, well, I'm 29 minutes late and they're pissed off. And it doesn't really start that relationship very well. But if I say I'm going to be there between 6 and 6:30, what that allows me to do is show up at 6:29 and still be on time, right? Stuff's going to happen. Traffic's going to happen. You end up writing 5 applications of a house, which is phenomenal, but you're late. If I am later than the 30-minute time frame, I do give the courtesy and call them and say, hey, I'm really sorry, I got caught up, I'm running late. Again, common decency too when you're dialing. So we establish a time. I tell them when I'm going to be there. Tom, you guys get off work at 5:30. Great. Go ahead and put me on your calendar. I'm going to jot you down here on mine between 6 and 6:30. Now, I've got you here at 7 North Main Street. Is that right? That transition point is so important because what it does is it allows you to tie it down and then move on to the next part of your phone script. So when you say, I'm going to put you down between 6 and 6:30, now I've got you here at 7 North Main Street. Is that right? You immediately move to your tie down. But again, what you did was you eliminated the ability to get an objection at that moment. So you say, I got you here at 7 North Main Street. Is that right? He says yes. Again, it's a yes or no answer. He says yes. Great. Tom, is the 7 on the mailbox or is it actually on the house? again, what we're doing is you're starting to paint the picture in Tom's mind of you driving down his street on North Main Street looking for the number 7. So you want to keep doing this because, again, why do we get no-showed? We get no-showed because we don't tie it down properly. This is a proper tie down. So got you here, 7 North Main Street. Is the number on the mailbox or is it on the house? He said it's on the mailbox. Great. Now, Tom, I know it's going to be a little bit dark around that time. Just to help me out when I'm on the road, what color is the house so I know what I'm looking for? And it's actually a pretty important question to ask, too, because here in Florida, look, you have a beige house and a beige house and a beige house, right? So if there's no separation between them and they say, oh, it's a beige house, all right, I need something a little bit more, right? So it gives you the ability to start picking up on different cues and really to help you out, too, while you're on the road. But again, still painting that picture in Tom's mind. Now, once you establish what color the house is, the next thing I do is I regain control of the phone call and I say, Tom, do me a favor. Grab me something to write with. I'm going to have you jot a couple things down. Let me know when you're ready. See, that's incredible control when you're on the phone and you say something like that and they actually go and do it. Again, you're setting yourself up for the control on the in-home. So, Tom says, all right, I got something to write with. Perfect. Go ahead and jot down my name, which is Ryan Polimeni. Don't worry about getting it right. I can't even get it right half the time. You know, sometimes they're going to laugh, sometimes they're going to be confused, whatever. It still kind of just breaks that ice. Go ahead and jot down that I'm going to be driving a silver 4-door sedan. So when you see me pull up, you know that's me. Now, Tom, are you and Mary taking any medications at all? He may say yes. He may say no. If he says yes, then the next question you ask is it for anything major, any heart attack, stroke, cancers? You know, why do we ask that question? Because if you're brand new, especially if you're brand new, and maybe you don't know all of your products, you know, to the T just yet, you can go to your manager or whoever's mentoring you and say, listen, I got an appointment with Tom and Mary. Tom's on this medication. He had a heart attack 10 years ago. You know, prep me up. What can I do? So it allows you to seek guidance on helping you better off with the sale. But you want to know that information because, again, you're getting people to do things for you. So if Tom says, yeah, we have a blood pressure medication and diabetes. Okay, great. Tom, do me a favor. Have those medications out when I get there. It'll help speed the process up a little bit more. Again, it's control. It's control. Now, Tom, what time is sales going to be there? He's going to say between 6 and 6:30. Why do you ask that question? Because, again, you want to make sure that he was paying attention and that you guys are on the same page. Because the more you can get Tom to repeat the time back to you, the less of a chance you have for him to forget. Now, think about this. He has all those things jotted down for you that you asked him for. He has the time embedded in his head. The last thing I'm going to say is, Tom, go ahead and put that on your refrigerator so you don't forget. I look forward to meeting you and Mary tomorrow. All right? Close it out. End it right there. So, again, it's all about the control on the phone. This phone script is available for you. Make sure you download it and use it. You know, practice it a couple times. It works for us really well. It can work for you. Now, let's talk about the 5 common objections, right? So, let's talk about these 5 common objections because realistically, you're going to get the same 5 over and over again. I mean, after 8 years of doing this, you know, you hear these same 5 things. So, a common objection number 1 is, we just wanted a quote. Tom, perfect. My job is really simple. It's to get you out the information on this and figure out exactly what you and Mary are eligible for. Unfortunately, it's not a one-size-fits-all plan. Now, what time do you guys usually get out of work? Boom, right back into your clothes. You acknowledge it, you answer, and you go right back into your clothes. So we just wanted a quote. Perfect. My job is real simple. Is to get that information out to you. My job is to figure out what you guys are eligible for. It's not a one-size-fits-all plan. What time do you guys usually get out of work? Boom. So the transition to closing is, what time do you guys usually get out of work? What time do you guys usually get out of work? You can ask, I may have to ask that 4 or 5 times before he finally says, we get out of work at 5:30. Great. Put you guys down at 6:30. I'll get all the information, get you all the quotes you guys want. So again, handle the objection and move past it. But close it. Go right back into your close again. Now, common objection number 2 is, can't you just mail it to us? Tom, I wish I could. Make my job a lot easier to start mailing a bunch of stuff out. We mailed this to you and you mailed it back because I know you're looking for information. This is not a one-size-fits-all plan, but my job is really simple. It's to get you guys this information, figure out what you're eligible for, and help you apply for it. Now, what time do you guys usually get out of work so I can do that? Boom. Handle it. Move right back into your clothes again. All right. Part of the script you guys are going to get, these objections are a part of this. So I'm going through them quickly, but they are here for you as well as a guidance. Now, common objection number 3. We are too busy. Tom, I hear you. My calendar is swamped. They got me working like doubles and triples here, man. I guess like 12 people a day. Listen, my job is real easy. It's just to get you out the information on this. I know this is important to you guys. My last appointment's at 9 o'clock at night. Obviously, I don't want to put you guys down that late, but would 8 o'clock work better for you? Boom. So now you're handling the objection, because a lot of times what happens is your clients think that you work 9 to 5. They don't realize that, you will see people all the way up to whenever you have to. So when I say my last appointment's not until 9 o'clock at night, obviously I don't want to put you guys down that late. They say, oh no, we don't want to go that late either. But now they realize that I am able to see people past that. So what I'll do is I'll put you guys down between 8 and 8:30. We'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Boom, right back into your close. So make it seem like, yeah, I get it, but you're not as busy as me. I'm really busy. All I need you for is about 10, 15 minutes. I'll put you guys down between 8 and 8:30. Again, anything you get, people are testing you, because when you can get over the objection, what else do they have? Right? They start throwing everything at you and like, all right, I got nothing else. When you're able to overcome these things easily, you were able to move past them, book an appointment. You'd be amazed when you start mastering, these objections and how to get over them, how many more appointments you book. Now, objection number 4. This one is always interesting to me, because these people fill out a form about a week ago, and then you get it and you call and say, oh, we're not interested anymore. Like, really? Okay. And that used to boggle my mind, but a lot of times they're not interested anymore because over the time that they filled that out and they sent it in and you were finally calling them, they have had meetings about this. Like, they're like, a lot of anxiety goes around these forms where they're filling it out and going, man, maybe we can't afford it. Should we really look into it? What if it's too much? I don't want a sales guy coming over. All these things go through people's minds. Just the mind game that these people play. And when you call, they say, no, we're not interested anymore. Your job is to break up that thought pattern. It's called thought pattern interrupt. So when somebody says, we're not interested anymore, you need to answer that with a question. Tom, not a problem at all. Let me ask you this. When you guys had filled this out originally, what was it you were looking for? Now you regain control and you put them on their heels where they have to answer the question. Well, when we filled this out originally, we wanted a plan that paid off the mortgage if Mary or I died. Okay, perfect. And I 100% understand that. My job is really easy. It's just to get you guys that information. I don't even know if you're eligible for this. But what I'll do is, what time do you guys get off of work? 5:30. Great. I'll get out there around 6:30 and get you guys the information on this. And at least you have it and you can make a decision on if it's worked for you or not. See you guys tomorrow. Boom. Right back into it. So, again, handle it, but ask a question. A lot of times you can get over objections just by simply asking another question. We're not interested anymore. Tom, not a problem at all. Let me ask you this real quick. What was it you were looking for when you had originally filled this out? Again, it puts him back it puts you back in offense and him back on his heels to answer the question. It allows you to bring back that emotion that they once had when they filled it out. Because again, these families sit around and they know they need it, but emotion takes over. You have to bring that emotion back out of them. Now, number 5, and the final one I'm going to talk about. We've already got this taken care of. Perfect, Tom. I'm glad you guys made some decision. Now, let me ask you this. I'm assuming that when you had filled this form out, you probably got 5 or 6 of these in the mail, right? Yeah, we got a ton of them. And you probably filled out more than one of these, correct? Yes, we did. Now, the reason you had filled this out, more than one of them, was because you're probably looking for the best plan at the best price, correct? Yes, we are. All right, perfect. Well, I haven't had a chance to get out to you, and we work with about 15 different companies. What I'm going to do is just make things really simple. I'm going to come out, see what you guys are eligible for, and see if I can, get you something cheaper than what you already got. Now, what time do you and Mary typically get out of work so I can do that? And you may say, well, no, we're pretty happy with what we got. No, listen, not a problem at all, Tom. But obviously, again, I want to make sure that we are able to get the information out to you. Working with so many carriers allows me to be able to save a lot of my clients' money. I only need you for about 10, 15 minutes because I know this is important to you. And what time do you guys get out of work? Boom, right back into your clothes again. So that is the phone script. This is exactly what I've said for the last 8 years, perfected it. I hope this is helpful for you. I know it's going to help. You guys book a lot more appointments. Listen, make sure that every Thursday 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You guys are following. We're going to have a lot more videos coming up. We got some incredible lineups for you guys with some CEOs, some top producers. Make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, like our Facebook ads, share this, because we want this thing going viral. I know this is, if it's going to help you, it's going to help a lot of people. You know, hit us up on all of our social media platforms at Ryan Polimeni. I look forward to helping you. Look forward to seeing you next week.